You're listening to the WLW Studios Radio Network, broadcasting live from Center City, Philadelphia, WLW Studio South, Studio B. This is the Midnight Jury.
This is the Midnight Jury. We are back for segment 2 of our WrestleMania 3 episode. Once again, it's not our WrestleMania 3 episode. It's just our 3rd episode, and I like referencing WrestleMania 3.
But perhaps our biggest.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be our biggest show today. I am Mike Norengacher.
And I am Adam Henning.
And we're back on the WLW Studios Radio Network to bring you segment 2 of episode 3, which is our segment on 90s pop, especially focusing on Aqua, Barbie Girl, Aqua. And like I said, I'm telling you right now, I have a lot of friends out there on Facebook who got on this quick on the WLW Studios page. There's a group on Facebook, the Love Generation. There is, these people are good people. When I got on there and I told them that I was doing a segment on Aqua, I started getting responses from around the world. Okay, we're talking over probably, I think, over 15 countries. So,
impressive.
I'm really proud of that. Basically, 90s pop is, it's a little different than 80s pop.
Well, this is a particular segment of 90s pop, really.
There was actually a few bands, and I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the other bands. I know who they are, like people like Toy Box. They did Tarzan and Jane. And then there was what was the other one? Captain Jack. Okay. And it's always usually a beautiful female singer, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Now, but let me stop. I know we're going to have a lot of listeners from overseas. I'm an ignorant American, okay? Please, give me a break here when I start pronouncing some of your names, because I don't know. I'm not good with inflection. I'm not good with rolling of tongues. I'm not good with things like that. So when you hear it, you're going to hear it American style. You're going to hear it Northeast, U.S. style, and I pay you all the respects because I thank you so much for calling in and helping us out with this. I really do.
No, I have a little bit more confidence in my own ability to perhaps say the names right. Maybe. Can I try the names?
Yeah, we can try. We're gonna have a good time with this. Now, like what I'm saying is specifically not just 90s pop, because like I said, we can bring up the bands that were that specific genre that seemed to be big over there. Like when I do my flipping through YouTube or whatever I do now, and I find these other bands, or when I used to be on Napster and find them like wrongly named Aqua.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We all know what we're talking about. So anyway, but then there's also that, and even Ace of Base kind of, but it's that beautiful female singer or singers with a gruff male rap voice. So
yeah.
It's almost in the same sense as, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Lenny and Diff. In Aqua.
Ace of Base would be in this category. Real McCoy would be in this category. This is, I guess, more of a freestyle one, but Collage, and they sing. Can you continue talking? I want to think of what the song I.
You want me to just cover for you while you think of something?
Cover me real quick.
All right. Okay. First off, to all the people who.
Got it.
Oh, thanks.
I've been loving you all my life.
What are you doing? What is this? Is this the Adam Henning singing hour? No one wants to hear you sing.
I don't want to hear.
You're not a bad singer.
But you know that, dude.
I'm just saying. It's like
that when I play that. If that's when I listen to that, I'll cringe at how bad that was. But do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know. I think I do recognize the song.
Okay, I think that kind of falls in the same category. Guy and girl, techno-y, but maybe techno's the wrong word, but dance, electronic dance music. And in this particular genre, we're dealing with girl singers with guys doing backup or kind of co-equal rapping in the verses.
Yeah. Well, my thing is I really am enjoying the fact that we're doing this topic, because so far, I mean, this is only our 3rd episode, but we've done, what, 5 different topics?
Yeah.
And now each show we do about 3. Our next one's going to be on the zombie one. The previous one was wrestling, so we do hit our target audience, which is that horror, wrestling group of that 80s, 90s era. But we also tell you pop culture, and that's why we're here right now. And I want to right now tell anyone in the United States that's listening to this who is giving this that chance and saying, hey, Aqua new, like, what is this? And there's a lot of people on the Aqua American fan page, and I hope they enjoy this. Or, the band themselves. My point being, they're not I'm so sick of hearing they're the Barbie Girl band. I'm tired of that. That song was great. It was perfect for the moment to get them popular in this country, the United States. And I hate to tell everybody overseas or wherever that they weren't huge here.
I think, just to maybe correct Mike a little bit, that they were huge here.
No, they were huge.
But they didn't have a spanning career here.
No.
They were huge for a very short period of time. Barbie Girl came out.
Yeah.
It
I don't
was
even
hot.
think the one single before that, which was Roses Are Red internationally.
I don't think that got any play here. I never heard it.
I really don't think so.
But Barbie Girl was huge. Z100, which was our local top 40 station, big time on Z100 and all the other top 40 stations.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I knew had the album.
My thing is though, did everybody take the time out like I did to go, I like the way this band sounds from this song, and this is a very catchy commercial song. But let's check. I want to buy the album. I want to see what else they have.
No, yeah, it's funny because the people that...
And that album is great.
The people that I knew that had the album listened to the album and liked the album itself. I think the problem was...
The album actually holds together as a true album. Like, all the songs, meet the same, feeling. It gives you the same... I consider it a very complete album.
There's a consistency to it.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with Aqua is that the U.S. market got that first album. I think the album probably sold very well. In fact, I know that it sold well. But for their second album, I don't think that the record industry pushed it. I think they were...
Yeah,
the record industry was done with Aqua, and the American fans didn't get the follow-up. That you had to be a hardcore Aqua fan like Mike to even be aware that they had another album soon after the original one.
Yeah.
And I think the American market would have liked the second album and continue to support Aqua because they are a solid band, but they just were not given a shot.
I have a feeling Cartoon Heroes and Around the World, I think, were released. Maybe, I have a feeling one or both got some sort of slight marketing.
Really?
Slight.
In the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, they sold the album here. So I waited for that album, and I'll be honest with that album, I loved it.
How did you hear about it?
What do you mean?
When it was coming out?
That's what I'm saying. There had to have been marketing, or I read it somewhere, or, I don't know. But I went out and got it. My thing is even to this day, and I know it's a lot easier to find out the information today, but I'm not saying I went out and got it the day it came out, but I'm the kind of person that when I go, if I walk into a record store, the few that are left, a record or CD store, I will check out, the area of the bands that I've liked my whole life.
Yeah.
So just to see, did they put out something I didn't know about? A live album? Whatever it may be. Did they put out something that I didn't hear about and that's sitting here and is, something I want to listen to?
Yeah, that you just need to get.
Yeah.
You would have gotten it if you knew it was there.
Yeah, just today, I bought New Kids on the Block, new album 10. So yeah, this is why I like this segment. You're seeing all sides of us now. It ain't just wrestling and horror movies in the 80s and 90s.
In fact, there's a new OMD album, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. They sing "If You Leave" from the 80s. They have a new album coming out.
If you leave.
Oh, and then we have Mike doing his rendition.
Yep.
His actually sounded much better than my rendition before.
You don't know that. We can tell.
No,
it's so late in the night as we are. We could just think we sound great.
My rendition, I know that it sounded terrible. I could sound better. Regardless, anyway, back to Aqua. So that second album, I guess, had a limited promotion in the U.S., as you're saying.
Yeah. But what about Ace of Base? They kind of did the same thing to them. After the sign, it was over.
Well,
here in the United States, I like the fact that we have some international listeners.
Well,
here it was like the Beautiful Life album, that album that was on, almost nothing except that song, and that song you only heard a lot if you were in that dance, if you were willing to turn on that dance station or go
like
to a club.
KTU.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point.
Whereas the sign, Don't Turn Around, All That She Wants, I was played on every friggin' station.
I think it may just come down to that style of music. In the U.S., the record industry, and actually, Aqua was kind of at the tail end of that phenomena.
The dance pop was definitely dying out.
Electronic.
That was a very 93 through 96, 97.
Yeah, definitely.
And they were that tail end that came from the Ambers and the, Real McCoy, all those songs. This is the night.
Yeah, that's I think 94, 95. And by the early 2000s, I think electronic music in the mainstream.
I'm just saying, I got all this ish on ready to go. I was just trying to give us some time to talk before I started bombarding us with kick-ass music. This is what preceded Aqua, and Aqua was the end of this kind of trend, I feel like.
And this trend in music kind of came out of that freestyle stuff that I was talking about a little bit earlier. New Order actually has some freestyle elements. It's almost like taking electronic dance music and freestyle, that is, adding sort of like an urban feel to it. And the reason that I think bands like Aqua and Real McCoy and Ace of Base coincide with that urban feel is that they have the guys rapping, and that's something that came out of freestyle.
But I also like that set off of the woman's voice with not a man's voice. Like, it's not like Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion. It's two people singing their hearts out.
Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
Well, I don't think Kid Rock is known for his gorgeous voice.
No, he has a terrible. I mean, yeah.
It's not.
Voice.
I don't think it's. I'm not saying it's a bad voice, but it's that genre. It's that southern rock, raspy. Singing. It's a completely different thing than what Diff does in Aqua, or like what Peebo Bryson or the Backstreet Boys do, and sing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Put your picture away.
Get out of here. Okay, so
it's
check it out.
It's not a duet.
So after they put out Aquarius and didn't get the promotion that they should have gotten here in the United States, not even given a chance on that album, would it have really sold in that time? I don't know. But I remember I guess it was 2000, even in 2000 or 2001, that they broke up, and I got word of that because that was on the internet.
No.
We did have internet at that time, people.
That song, I Turn to You. What year was that?
Oh, were you kidding me? That's Mel C from the Spice Girls.
What year was that?
I don't know. I'm good, but I'm not that good. I don't think I could pull that.
I want to say 99, 2000.
Right, I forget if it came out between Spice World and Forever, or if it came out after Forever, where it was like the four of them, and it was like, okay, well, we're kind of broken up.
Yeah, because I feel like if that song came out 2000 or after, that there was still perhaps an appetite for that type of, girl-centered, electronic, dancey type of stuff.
I always tell this story that I always remember going to the page for the years following that. I want to say at least till 2002, 2003, maybe even later, going to their old website, which it was aqua.dk probably, I think, or something like that. And all it said was, it had the Aqua Aquarius, I think, logo, and it said, "Goodbye to the circus. We hope you enjoyed the show." And that, to me, was so friggin' depressing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I waited and waited and waited for them to come back. And in 08 or 09, they did. And I was actually a little late onto the boat, because I had literally I remember I checked the site maybe 2 years prior. And 06, 07. and it was nothing. Like there was nothing.
Did the official website have the announcement of them coming back?
I don't. You know what? I don't know. I'm ashamed that I don't know because I gave up. So they got back together. They released their greatest hits album, which included, I think, 3 new songs.
So bands sort of, there's a lot of bands that I like where there's a big announcement. Yo, we're putting together a best of.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, like who cares? I know all that music.
Yeah.
But then they do sweeten the deal a little bit because the band, typically, if it's a great situation, they'll make some new music for that best of, and that's like, okay, now we're talking. I'm gonna have something with a few songs on it, and then I'll have a CD that has I could bring that CD around, and I could play even for new people, a bunch of the good songs. But there's nothing better than hearing that a band is putting together a full-length album.
Yeah, of all new material. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the fact that like NKOTBSV and Aqua, they put out those greatest hits albums, but with like 3 new songs. I like that. Awesome. But then they don't let you down. They keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
And Aqua then put out Megalomania, which that I was ready for months and months and months and months and months in advance, and I was just extremely happy about that, and it didn't let me down at all. And I think that those songs off of the greatest hits were the perfect transition almost. It's like they almost did it perfectly between their old style and their new style, especially with like Back to the 80s.
Yeah, they basically unveiled...
Like Back to the 80s could have been on Aquarius or Aquarium.
They unveiled sort of a more modernized style and a more serious tone, but not a more serious tone in the sense that we are now a serious band, but they unveiled an ability to make serious music, which they can switch on and off, which I think is good. Yeah. Very good. My Mama Said is not a funny song.
No.
At all.
Very serious, but an awesome beat and awesome,
They pull it off really well.
Yeah, I agree. And Back to the 80s is a fun song. Boom.
If anything, Aqua sort of added another dimension to what they are. Yeah. They're actually, like, after this, if a new person that never even heard Barbie Girl heard some of the new stuff by Aqua, they would consider them 100% a straight up, not funny band, like a good pop band. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Like Lady Gaga is somebody that has like sexually suggestive songs, but also she's considered a good artist. She's not somebody that's considered funny. I think for
well, do you think? Are you saying you think it's okay that because they in Megalomania, they got a little bit more straightforward. It wasn't bumblebees anymore with all the references with the pollinating and the flower and the bee, all that stuff. It became fuck you like a robot. Yeah. Like they went straight at you and told you exactly how it was, and they dropped the bombs.
No, yeah, it's a more I feel like it changed perfectly with the times. They updated their concepts to be more in line with today's more sexually.
Honestly, when I put this up originally, I was under the impression that you liked the old stuff much better.
No, not necessarily.
That actually makes me extremely happy.
Good.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I also want to get to, these comments from around the world.
Before we go on to the fans, comments and stuff, I just want to enter my point of contention with a couple things about Aqua that I don't like. And they're not concepts. I like Aqua as a concept, and I like the people in Aqua, and Mike really turned me on to them. But there's a couple songs I do not approve of. And one of them is, what is the name of it again?
Are you talking about your one that says Disney?
Yeah.
It's We Belong to the Sea off Aquarius.
So all you Aqua fans
which I love.
All you Aqua fans out there, you got a friend in Mike here, but you have an enemy in Adam here for We Belong to the Sea. That is lame, boring,
No.
Disney sounding. Like I hate.
I admit there's a little bit of, I don't know. I don't want to say campiness. That's not necessarily the right word, but it is very just sweet and like, yes, it maybe could have been in The Little Mermaid.
I hate Disney movies, by the way.
I love them.
But
whatever.
I'm gonna say
fight about that. That'll happen later.
Significant minority with that, but
I'll throw on my Mickey Mouse boxing gloves and mess you up.
We belong to the sea. I'd throw that into the garbage heap if I could like take songs off of CDs and like tapes that I have. I'd take it off. And then another song that I really hate by Aqua, and I'm not trying to rain on everybody's parade here. I'm just trying to
belting it out.
Go with our theme of this being a jury deliberating. That's the whole point of the show. And I just want to say that I hate Personal Jesus. Wait, no.
Or no, Playmate to Jesus.
Playmate to Jesus. Yeah. Personal Jesus is Depeche Mode, but
getting crazy.
Playmate to Jesus is another song that I just don't. I like depressing music just fine, but I don't like the mushy, epic sounding, boring type of music that
like
Playmate.
If the world didn't suck you, we would all fall off. Also.
Yeah, that would sort of fall in. I like that song a little bit.
I like Playmate to Jesus. I like to Playmate to Jesus a lot.
It's just like epic pop song, and there's so many of those epic types of pop songs.
I mean, you yourself said they were growing up and like taking on new things, and that's what they were supposed to be doing.
No, it's appropriate to this era. It's just there's so many bands that I love that have songs like that I don't like. I just wanted to air out the couple songs that I really don't like. For every song I don't like, there are 10 that I do. So let's just keep that in mind. And like a song, Eminem, "Come Take My Hand, Come Take My Hand." What's that song?
I don't know that one. Like I said, I know a lot, but there's certain things I don't know. I don't pay attention to Eminem.
Everybody.
I don't know Eminem.
I'm sure a lot of people that are listening actually probably do know that song. But that's another like sort of epic, like mushy, like stupid song that I don't like. That's the type of pop song I don't like. But back to the good stuff.
All right, let's get to our comments from around the world on Aqua. And the main question was, how do you compare their new album, Megalomania, to their previous albums? So, I mean, that was the main question. You want to help me with the names?
I want to actually go with
Rocket.
Herman. Herman. Andres Cuevas Saez.
We're doing it. I mean, we do our best. We're from, like, the New York area, and it's hard for us.
No, I think J is an H. J sounds like H, not G.
It's coming to us from Chile.
German. Let's go with German.
Ah, that's good. You might have nailed it on that. And it's out of Chile, and he actually says, "I love Megalomania, but I didn't like the fact that they didn't promote it outside their own like home countries, meaning like the Norway, Denmark area. It's hard to say which is the best album, but they are all so good and different," which we actually did mention that each were good and each were different.
Yeah, they do a good job of mixing it up.
The new album, hopefully it will come this year, must be similar to Megalomania, but I want more songs. I also hope they make another live DVD. They are amazing.
Okay, yeah. He is a good take. More songs would be good, I think.
I agree. I mean, all their albums, I don't think were like epic, like American Idiot or like The Wall or like trying to be these like epic albums. But it would be nice to have an album like that's a little longer than
you could have
40.
You could have a 9 to 10 album, or 9 to 10 song album, as long as you're releasing an album every couple of years. But if you're waiting as long as they have waited between albums, you gotta lay the songs on. 12 to 15 songs, I think, is appropriate if you're coming out with an album. The average of every 5 years.
I feel like maybe it's gone down, but I feel like they were shorter back in the 50s and 60s. Then they got longer, and in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then they got shorter again because of the internet and whatnot. But I feel like they should be, at least an hour. I want an hour of music.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to sit down and listen to an album, really get into it and feel it, that's what you got to do. But
50 minutes is my. I'd like.
We also asked him what his favorite album is. He actually does go out on a limb. He says Aquarium. He's because this is our first album. He says it's because that's when he fell in love with Aqua. And favorite songs, boom, Back to the 80s, My Oh My, Cartoon Heroes, Aquarius, Viva Las Vegas, Playmate to Jesus, If the World Didn't Suck, Turn Back Time, How Are You Doing? I mean, I agree with most of those. I'm definitely down on that.
I knew about Turn Back Time actually when my friends had the original Aquarium album. One of the songs that stood out to them, I remember, was Turn Back Time.
Mm. Okay, next one is now I'll try and pronounce this one. Michaela. I'm going to say Michaela Hlavakova.
Let me try this one.
It's from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, Michaela Hlavakova.
Oh man, we're doing our best. I think we're doing pretty good. We're trying our best here at the Midnight Jury. She says it's on Aqua. I don't like the fact that some people always expect the same music from bands, basically. They usually only know Barbie Girl from Aqua, and that's all. And I agree. I'm 100% with her on that, which I complained about earlier. The band is changing in time, and so does the music. I hate when someone says, it's good, but it's not the old Aqua from the 90s. Which I agree, because they've grown up. Of course, it's not. Things change, but they still rock. I love them. I also appreciate all the songs they put out. Hopefully, I'll get to meet them one day on a tour.
Yeah. That.
By the way, with favorite songs for Michaela, I hope that's right. If I tried to choose some favorite songs, the list would be too long. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Why
a lot of us are like that with. I mean, but I did ask people, do you have favorite songs? If you do, throw them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
We all understand that if you're listening to this podcast, or you're on the Aqua the Love Generation, or you are still following the band's every movements, you are a strong, good, hardcore fan.
Yeah, when you're talking to people that you know are fans, it's almost like you can assume that they're the songs that are your favorites. They probably have very similar favorites, and we can all agree that most of the songs are good. I know I just mentioned how I don't like certain ones, but I would also say that I agree with Michaela that you can't close your mind to new material by bands.
No.
Sometimes bands make really bad, poor decisions with new material.
People do say the same thing about Green Day, and I do understand, because I grew up with the Green Day of Kerplunk, and then going back to 1039 and like Dookie and whatever. But I still, even though I don't agree with all of everything he says in American Idiot, I love American Idiot and I love 21st Century Breakdown. They're much older now. They're older people. They've grown up. So listen to it. Give it a fair shot.
Yeah,
open mind.
If I ever did like Green Day, I'd be very willing to give them a chance. I
was just using that as a example. People really always go, oh, if you want to sound like you're a real Green Day fan, you go, oh, their new stuff. I like Green Day, but not their new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's the attitude that I am talking about with Michaela. I appreciate that she doesn't have that attitude.
But anyway, you want to go on to our third person out of Frederiksberg, Denmark?
Now
that's Aqua's home area.
This is.
Boom! I wish I could go to Denmark.
This is a rough one. Because in the U.S. where we are,
in the U.S. it says Met to me.
Yeah, well,
and that to me is like Met.
Also,
Met, New York Met.
In the U.S. Where we are, we have a very high influx of Hispanic people from South America, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, whatever. So when we look at any sort of Latin-derived language, if we're not pronouncing it in English, we're pronouncing it in Spanish.
We go Spanish
sort of.
First.
So that's kind of what we revert to. So I'm going to say Mete, Backer, and then it's Christensen. So Mete could be Met, or I guess that's pretty much the only two options.
Yeah, but either way, her case on Aqua, do you want to read it?
Sure. On Aqua, everything changes. The world is changing all the time. Mother Nature strikes back, music changes, language, fashion, and everyone, at least here in Denmark, tend to swear a lot more nowadays. So it's only natural that Aqua do too in their songs. It's the way we speak. I don't really like the question, what was their best album? You make it sound as if we're not going to get
I
any
did
more.
post that. I wrote, in the questions, I posted, and I promised I would fix that. It's not what was their best album. It's what is their best album so far. So I hope that I apologized, and I also hope that she hears now that I'm saying, what is their best album so far when we asked that question?
Yeah, I think that was more of just an oversight on your part.
Yeah, it was, but she made a very good point.
Yeah, I hear that. You make it sound as if we're not going to get any more albums from the band. I can definitely say that my favorite album is Megalomania. So that's a good perspective. I love the other two as well, but this latest one means more to me.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. There's a deeper aspect to the band.
And I might even agree with her. I don't know if I can definitively say right now Megalomania is my favorite album, but it's damn close because I waited so long for it that it's almost like I'm just so happy to have it and I enjoy the songs, so it's like it's a great album to me.
She goes on to say, my favorite songs, though, are not all from Megalomania. They're Aquarius, My Mama Said, Back to the 80's, Be My Savior Tonight, Cartoon Heroes, but I obviously love them all.
Of course.
Obviously.
We do. I understand that. So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. She makes sense because she says, because they do swear more. They are more open on Megalomania. So, I mean, I understand what she's saying. World changing, people changing, and apparently over in Denmark, people swear all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. Well, you know what I'm saying. No, people are more loose with some of their language, and, who cares if a band who's gotten older, who isn't only focusing on a young teenage crowd, swears.
No,
problem
correct.
with that.
The only kind of ironic thing is that it seems like Megalomania is Aqua's most, as pop music is in the U.S. currently, it's the closest. Basically, it is U.S. pop music. Mm-hmm. It's an album that can very easily, really any of the songs could be hits on our radio.
Yeah, I think a lot of songs off Megalomania could have hit here.
And it's weird that it wasn't promoted because it seems like it was made with us in mind.
Yeah, and it also seems like it was made for that almost that very pop crowd, that's the people who are listening to, Katy Perry and Lady Gaga and, Beyonce and all these like women pop acts that are out there. Like, it seems like Megalomania would have fit in, especially on certain songs. Like, for instance, for me, I think in America, No Party Patrol, Be My Savior Tonight, How Are You Doing? I think all of those songs could have had a chance to hit it on the airwaves.
Yes. How Are You Doing? Well, I could go through them all and almost picture all. I could picture all of them.
I'm just saying because you know what I've noticed, at least for me even, if a band releases a ballad or something like that, it's not going to catch on as quick. But if you release yourself a good dance song in this country, and it's catchy and it has a catchy beat or a catchy tune or a catchy riff or a catchy chorus, you're gonna get those album sales as long as you're promoted correctly.
Yeah, and the second single can be a
slower
ballad.
song. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would have released How Are You Doing? I think they did release How Are You Doing followed by Playmate to Jesus, and that's kind of how I would do it, but I would have done it over here. Or maybe How Are You Doing followed by No Party Patrol followed by Playmate to Jesus.
Well, it's weird because when you have a new album come out, you may have to wait as a fan of that band. It's not like you're waiting for it, but it may not be a year and a half, sometimes 2 years before you hear the song that you fell in love with and were completely familiar with and as part of your repertoire. It starts getting played on the radio.
Yeah.
So maybe they're planning a whole nother move to re-promote it in the U.S. and maybe we will hear some of these songs.
Wouldn't it be
on the radio.
amazing if Megalomania was released over in the U.S. or in Canada or whatever, and they got all huge again over here, and we were sitting here listening to them for the last few years, listening to their comeback tour, and we're like, yeah, where were you, America?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where the hell were you guys? We knew about this the whole time.
And then we'll really see, and we already know this to be true, that like it's really the people at the top.
And nowadays it's not one-hit wonders. If they came back, I feel like they'd be back for a while. Look at Backstreet Boys. Look at New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block just released on their comeback tour. Their comeback tour was 2008. Here we are in 2013, 5 years later, and they're still on their comeback tour. They've released 2 fully new albums and an album of greatest hits with 3 new songs with the Backstreet Boys. Yeah,
I think if they came back, they'd be here to stay.
Yeah,
but
I think Aqua would really have a chance now.
If they did come back, I think it would just prove that it's not the listeners, it's not the general public. It's not them who choose what they like. They like what sounds good, but it's almost like the corporate bigwigs.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah.
They choose
what they're gonna put money into.
What they're gonna promote. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be weird to think about how this music's been around and available to the general public for 2 or 3 years, but people didn't listen to it until the executives in the music industry decided that it was time. It's sort of weird to think that that's the way we kind of live our lives.
Yeah. I want to read a few more off because we are running high on time, and we're going to get back to Aqua one day, and we're going to get back to pop music and Ace of Base and all the real McCoy, all of them. I think it's Pernille Florio. That's from Copenhagen, Denmark. Hometowns of Aqua, that home area. So just told us straight up she really likes Playmate to Jesus. So that's a song you don't love. I very much enjoy, but I think it's a 3rd single.
Okay.
Okay, that's how I look at it. And then Sofia Rizkova. That looks. I think I did that one from Russia. Oh, Mother Russia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia.
So Sophia says my favorite album is Aquarium, the first album, which is understandable completely. I get it. She says, I love most of their old songs and some new. I can explain why people say that they love old Aqua. To be honest, their new music is not so professional. Wow. She is going at them. In the best meaning of the word, it's just not well made, she doesn't think. Other people say that the life changes and music changes, the styles and everything. But believe me, I know how this usually happens. Music becomes better, not worse, and less well made. And so she's basically criticizing Aqua, saying that she thinks this new album isn't as well made and well put together as previous albums. She says the new songs sound primitive. So,
So do you? Okay.
Wow. I mean, does she? I wonder if she likes any of them.
I wish it was a little bit more specific. Is it the production that she finds
she's
primitive?
saying that. Well, it sounds like she's saying like how it was put together, where it was put together, just doesn't sound as good. Doesn't seem like as much time was put into it, and that many of the new songs they lose their individual bright music style of the old Aqua, I guess. It's just that she's saying that all the original ones worked because they had the right chords and they were like fresh like chords and melodies.
Okay. I could when you're dealing with music made nowadays, it's almost like you go into a studio and.
I mean, but what does she want them to do? Put out Aquarium 2?
They're making music like any other current pop band is making music. It just so happens that technology is at a level these days where it's almost like you can't make an album without it sounding every album sounds too perfect because technology is almost too perfect.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like
they seem so like we're creating music for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen. Yeah, the little imperfections that they're not imperfect. I don't look at them as imperfections, but the little things that
make it unique.
Yeah, make an album unique. Yes.
And because there is such a technology influenced process in making music these days, you can throw a catchy song together in minutes.
Yeah.
So like they may have spent years writing those songs and making those songs, but once you get in the studio and put them together digitally, like on the computer with all the beats and the chords and stuff, electronic sounds, it can sound like it was put together very quickly in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't mean it necessarily was, though. And maybe next album they should do it. Maybe they should use...
I feel like this album should be... The fourth album should be as different from Megalomania as Aquarius was to Aquarium.
How different were they?
They weren't a complete change, but it was a little bit more adult, a little less bubblegum. And they were still doing that fast, catchy, thing going on. It was a lot less like, whereas Megalomania, they ended up getting darker. I wouldn't say Aquarius was dark, but it was definitely way more mature adult than, but still not, because they had, songs like Bumblebee that, if you don't read into it and know what it's about, it sounds like a very innocent song. So, all right, let me keep moving on. Anna Laura, what is this? What do you think this is? Pancetti?
Pancetti.
From right out of Italy.
Pancetti.
Which is the home of Vatican City, which is the home of the new Pope. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, she says Megalomania is my favorite album. She also likes Aquarium and Aquarius. She's kind of saying with all of them. She likes all of them, but she does say Megalomania first. And, with their music, they're always going to try and be in step with the times. With the fourth album, I expect that musically they'll continue along the same road, but hopefully have more popularity in other countries, I guess, and overall.
Okay.
Which I agree with completely. If they're going to do a fourth album, they either got to put a bunch of money into Megalomania and release it worldwide, or they need to put a bunch of money into the fourth album and then a bunch of money into promoting it, in around the world. I've been around the world. Hey.
Our next comment is from somebody with a very long name, but a very beautiful name at that.
And Adam is going to do his best.
And we just talked about how we are so well qualified in reading Spanish. Obviously, you'll see that we aren't actually well qualified.
That's out the window now.
We just have a tendency to assume that every language that isn't ours sounds like Spanish. But here it goes. Aime, Ischel, Morillo, Saucedo, Saucedo.
You did it. Read the comment.
Okay. I'm putting more emphasis on the names than the comments, but I think the best album is Aquarius, and in second place, Megalomania.
Wow, Aquarius. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think that's a good album.
What is your favorite, Mike?
I think, like I said earlier, I think it could be Megalomania, but I definitely found myself at times saying I think I liked Aquarius a little bit more than Aquarium, because to me they both were as pretty much very similar in as how much I liked them, but Aquarius seemed to have a few more songs that just stood out that I really loved, and Aquarium hurt a little bit because Barbie Girl was so played out. And so that kind of takes away a song. Not that I don't like the song even now, but it was just at the time when Aquarius came out, I was over Barbie Girl.
Okay.
And like anyone who kind of knew who Aqua was knew Candyman. So then that was always, people wanted to listen to that, and it was like, so even that one, which is a terrific song, kind of got played out for a while. So I was listening to way more Aquarius.
Okay.
But right now, I mean, I really do like where Megalomania went.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one, and this is Felice Mastrantuono. Mastrantuono. I mean, that's a hard one.
Let me try, because I know
he's out of Naples over there in Italy. We have another one out of Italy.
Because I know I took Italian in high school and I did very, very poorly. I'm not just saying that to sound cool.
Poorly do it so that I can read his comment.
Felice Mastrantuono.
Well, he says that Megalomania is the best album ever. I mean, that I can't agree with that, because if you say that it's the best album ever, if you're talking about with just Aqua and that's your favorite, you think it's the best album, that's awesome. But I mean, you just said Megalomania is the best album ever. I mean, you're comparing that to every album ever. That's a hard thing to do. All songs can be a smash hit. Hope for an international release this year. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I don't know. Would I rather have a new album, or would I rather have Megalomania internationally released and I'd be one of the few people in the States who knew about it?
Yeah, I mean, for the longevity of the band, I would say that have them try to milk Megalomania for what they can, see what it's capable of.
I mean, because they could spend tons of money and put it into making a new album, but then they might not have tons of money to then go spend and promote it in the United States.
Yeah.
And places like that. Do you think this is Chiara Corbo?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and that's from Italy again. It's Grosseto. It's probably like Grosseto.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Look at that.
There you go.
Wow. She said, I think Aqua did a fantastic job. It's not easy to adapt to changes in music, but at the same time, maintaining their basic style for which they got famous. With Megalomania, they did that perfectly.
Good.
That was...
Good comment.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and say that might even be the comment of the evening, because that seems to me almost exactly at this moment how I feel.
That's how
I almost want to give her an award. I
too.
wish we had T-shirts or something we could give out. We're going to have to go get T-shirts made.
Yeah.
I would give Chiara, I hope that's right, because, wow.
Yeah, that I'm not just saying that to jump on the bandwagon, but that is definitely how I felt. Like I said before, the album contains songs that are very, very similar in tone to a lot of music currently, and I could picture most of that album being able to work on the radio in America.
Yeah, I agree. We gotta work. We gotta get some sort of petition going. Finally, one last one. We're going to get out of here because we're running long. This is going to be the Midnight Jury, and this is our Aqua segment. We hope you enjoyed it. This last one, I want to say it's, the last name is, what is Buglioni? Buglioni Tati? Buglioni?
Buglioni, yeah.
And that's out of Argentina. She says, love Aqua. Always think they do an amazing job, and I can't pick a favorite album, but Megalomania is just as good as the first.
Yeah.
So I agree with that too. And so, I mean, honestly, the last two were pretty much right on to what we were talking about. In closing, we will get back to Aqua. We will get back to pop. Me and him both agree all three albums stand on their own. And we will definitely get back into this topic because I do want to get into the different songs that me and him disagree on. So for now, everybody go check out Lenny. I hope that's pronounced right. She's one of the new models for glitter jewelry over, I believe it's in Europe, and the pictures are on the Aqua American fan page. I think they might even be on the Aqua page. If you're in the Love Generation, I'm sure they're somewhere around there. Check them out. She looks awesome. She looks gorgeous. So thank you everybody for writing in. We really appreciate it. You want to thank everybody?
Yeah, I think it's great that we're getting so much interaction from you guys, and let us know what you thought of our interaction back at you this episode.
I'm seriously gonna ask anybody who did go and listen to this episode, please do us a favor. Go over to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/WLW Studios, and please give us a like and keep commenting. We want to do more. We're the kind of people that if we get enough comments about Aqua, or we get enough comments about a certain band in the 80s or that originated in the 80s or 90s, we will do it. That's the point of our different segments. You guys are just listening to the Aqua segment, but there's 2 other segments we do. Mm-hmm. And we'll continue to do that if we get enough feedback. So we can create a whole radio, show for you and what you want to hear. That's what we do, but we kind of keep it to things that were generated. We bring you back to the 80s and 90s.
And things that we have a perspective on,
Yeah, I agree. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Midnight Jury, Episode 3, Segment 2. This was all about Aqua and late to mid-90s pop. And we will get back to this. I'm Mike Norengonger.
I'm Adam Henning.
And that was awesome. We went around the world.
With Aqua.
And we'll be back with our segment. We're going to call it Midnight of the Living Dead.